It was 2:17 a.m. when she said it. No warning, no build-up. Just a quiet confession that cut through the dark like a knife. I slept with my ex last night. For a second, I thought I'd misheard her. I just stared, waiting for her to smirk, to tell me it was some cruel joke. But she didn't. Her expression didn't waver. Too calm, too rehearsed, like she practiced this moment over and over in her head. My heart didn't break the way you'd think. It didn't shatter or rage. It just folded inward, like paper curling in slow fire. I'd spent 5 years building a life with this woman, paid off her debts, helped her start her business, supported every late-night dream she whispered to me, and this was what I got in return. She started rambling about closure, confusion, mixed emotions, but all I could hear was a steady thud of my own pulse. I didn't yell. I didn't demand answers. I just stood up, walked into my study, and opened the folder I'd labeled months ago. Contingency plan. Because I'd known. Not the details. Not the night. But the signs, the distance, the hidden phone, the new perfume. I'd felt the storm gathering. And quietly, I prepared for it. By sunrise, I was already at the kitchen table, sipping coffee, watching her move around like nothing had happened. No guilt, no hesitation. She even hummed while scrolling through her phone, like she hadn't detonated our marriage 6 hours earlier. I waited until she sat down. Then I slid a manila envelope across the table. "What's this?" she asked, brow raised. "Your invoice," I said evenly. She let out a nervous laugh. "You're joking." I shook my head. "You said you slept with your ex. Congratulations. That's your $9,000 cheating bill." Inside was everything. Copies of the prenup she'd signed before our wedding, the clause she'd brushed off as just legal talk, and a detailed record of every dollar I'd invested in her business. The same one I helped her build from nothing. She flipped through the pages, her confusion slowly giving way to panic. You can't be serious." "Oh, I'm serious," I said quietly. "Remember that clause you insisted on? The one that nullifies shared assets and demands repayment if there's infidelity? You wanted to look independent. Well, congratulations. You got your wish." Her face drained of color. "You wouldn't actually." "I already did. I cut in. The papers were filed last week. All that's left is your signature." For once, she had no words. Her hands trembled as the reality sank in. She wanted excitement, a spark, something new. What she found was accountability, written in black ink, sealed by her own choices. She looked at me for a long time. The silence between us stripped everything bare. Her pride, her composure, the illusion of control she'd always carried. "Gone. You actually planned this," she whispered. I nodded. "I planned to protect myself. You planned to cheat. We just followed through differently." Tears welled in her eyes. But even they felt practice, like a performance she perfected to earn sympathy. Once they might have worked. Not anymore. I'd spent too long mistaking manipulation for love. She tried to explain, said it just happened, that she'd been confused. The usual lines people use when they've crossed a line, they can't uncross. But I wasn't angry anymore. I was finished. "I'm not punishing you," I told her quietly. "I'm closing the book. You broke the trust. Now you balance the account." I stood, walked to the window, and watched the sunlight spill through the blinds, painting the room in gold. Behind me, she was still rifling through the documents, desperate for a loophole that didn't exist. "You said love isn't a transaction," she muttered bitterly. "It's not," I said, turning back to her. "But betrayal? That comes with interest." She sat there in silence, staring at the floor, the woman who once talked about forever, now doing the math on what a single night had cost her. When I finally left the house, I didn't slam the door. I didn't even look back. Because some endings don't need shouting, just silence and the quiet satisfaction of finally being done.